Rob was standing 20 feet away when the cable snapped. He heard it before he saw it, a metallic whip crack that cut through the noise of the film set. And then Tommy Martinez, a stunt coordinator Rob had worked with for 3 years, was falling. Not the controlled fall you see in movies. The real kind. The kind where gravity wins and bones break. Rob didn't think. He ran. It was June 14, 1994, day 17 of shooting, The Finest Hour, a mid-budget action thriller that was supposed to be Rob's return to leading roles. The production was behind schedule, over budget, and the studio was threatening to pull the plug. Tommy Martinez was rigging a wire stunt for a building jump scene. Standard stuff for a guy with Tommy's experience. He'd done 1,000 of these. But someone in the props department had used the wrong gauge cable. Too thin. Too weak. And when Tommy's full weight hit it during the test run, the cable gave out. Rob was rehearsing his lines with the script supervisor when he heard the snap. "Did you hear that?" Rob asked. Before anyone could answer, Tommy's scream cut through the air. Rob spun around just in time to see Tommy hit the airbag, but at the wrong angle. The bag wasn't positioned correctly. Tommy's body twisted mid-fall and his shoulder took the impact first. The sound was sickening. Like a tree branch breaking. Rob was running before Tommy stopped moving. "Tommy!" Rob dropped to his knees beside the airbag. "Tommy, can you hear me?" Tommy's face was white. His eyes were open but unfocused. His left arm was bent at an angle that made Rob's stomach turn. "Don't move him," the stunt coordinator yelled, running over. "Nobody touch him until medical gets here." But Rob was already there, his hand on Tommy's good shoulder. "You're okay, brother. You're okay. Help's coming." Tommy tried to speak but only a moan came out. His breathing was shallow, rapid. Shock setting in. The medic arrived, a young guy named David who looked panicked. He took one look at Tommy's arm and his face went pale. "We need an ambulance," David said, his voice shaking. "Now. This is beyond what I can handle here." That's when Martin Schofield appeared. The director. A veteran Hollywood guy who'd made 20 films and didn't have time for delays. "How bad is it?" Martin asked, looking at his watch. "Bad," David said. "He needs a hospital. Real doctors. Surgery probably." Martin looked at Tommy, then at his watch again, then at the 100 crew members standing around watching. "Call an ambulance," Martin said. "But make it clear we need someone here in 30 minutes max. We've got the building rigged for 3 more hours and we're losing light." Rob looked up at Martin. "You're worried about the light." "I'm worried about 100 people's paychecks, Rob. We're 17 days behind. The studio's breathing down my neck. If we don't get this stunt today, we lose the location tomorrow." Rob stood up slowly. "Tommy's shoulder is destroyed. He might have internal injuries. And you're talking about lighting?" "I'm talking about reality," Martin said. "The ambulance will take him. David can ride with him. But we need to keep shooting." The crew had gathered in a circle now. Grips, camera operators, makeup artists, all watching to see what would happen. Rob looked down at Tommy, who was trying to speak. "Rob," Tommy whispered, his voice barely audible. Don't let them." "Don't let them what?" Rob leaned closer. "Don't let them fire me. I need this job. My daughter, college." Rob felt something crack open in his chest. Here was Tommy, probably with a shattered shoulder and God knows what else, and he was worried about losing his job. Rob stood up and faced Martin. "We're not shooting," Rob said quietly. Martin blinked. "Excuse me?" "I said we're not shooting. Not until I know Tommy's okay." "Rob, be reasonable." "I am being reasonable." A man just fell 30 feet because someone used the wrong cable. That's not a delay. That's negligence. And if we just keep shooting like nothing happened, we're saying his life doesn't matter. Martin's face was getting red. Rob, you're not thinking about the bigger picture. The bigger picture is that Tommy has a daughter in college. The bigger picture is he's been doing stunts for 20 years and he's lying there worried we'll fire him for getting hurt. The bigger picture is that we're all so obsessed with staying on schedule that we're forgetting we're human beings. One of the producers, a woman named Janet Mills, stepped forward. Mr. Lowe, I understand you're upset, but... I'm not upset, Rob interrupted. I'm done. We're done for today. We shut down until Tommy's out of surgery and we know he's okay. Martin was shaking his head. You can't make that call. You're an actor, not a producer. Then I'm making a different call, Rob said. I'm not performing another scene today. You can shoot around me if you want. But I'm going to that hospital with Tommy. The set went silent. 100 people holding their breath. Martin's jaw was clenched. If you walk off this set, you're in breach of contract. The studio will sue you for every delay. They'll blacklist you. You know how this industry works, Rob. Rob looked at Tommy, still lying on the airbag, watching this unfold with pain-filled eyes. Yeah, I know how it works, Rob said. I've been blacklisted before. Survived it then, I'll survive it now. But I won't survive looking in the mirror if I let this happen. You're being dramatic. Am I? Rob's voice got louder. A man just fell 30 feet because we were rushing. Because we were cutting corners. And you want to keep cutting corners so we don't lose the location. What's next, Martin? Someone dies and we shoot around the funeral. The crew members were nodding now. Martin's face went white. He knew he'd lost. Sue me, Rob said. I'll wait with Tommy. They said 10 minutes. I'll wait with him, Rob said. He sat down on the ground next to Tommy. That's when something unexpected happened. The cinematographer, a guy named Marcus Chen, stepped forward. Martin, Marcus said, I'm with Rob. We should shut down. Martin spun to face him. Marcus, not you too. I've been doing this 30 years, Marcus continued. And I've seen what happens when we prioritize the schedule over people. It doesn't end well. Tommy's hurt. We all saw it. And if we just keep shooting, we're telling every person on this crew that they're expendable. One by one, other crew members started stepping forward. The gaffer, I'm with Rob. The sound mixer, me too. The makeup artist, we should shut down. Within 2 minutes, more than half the crew had sided with Rob. Martin looked around at the faces staring back at him. He was outnumbered. Outmaneuvered. Janet Mills touched Martin's arm. Martin, maybe we should. Fine, Martin snapped. We shut down for today. But we're back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. sharp. Everybody understand? The crew nodded. Rob didn't move from Tommy's side. The ambulance arrived 8 minutes later. 2 paramedics loaded Tommy onto a stretcher. As they were lifting him, Tommy grabbed Rob's hand. Thanks, man, Tommy whispered. Don't thank me, Rob said. Just get better. I mean it. You didn't have to do that. Yeah, I did. Rob rode in the ambulance with Tommy. The whole way to Cedars-Sinai, he held Tommy's good hand while the paramedics worked. One of the paramedics, a woman named Lisa, glanced at Rob while she was taking Tommy's vitals. You're Rob Lowe, she said. Yeah. My husband loves your movies. He's going to freak out when I tell him. Tell him I said hi. Lisa finished with the blood pressure cuff. Most celebrities wouldn't ride in an ambulance with a crew member. They'd send an assistant or something. Rob looked down at Tommy, who was drifting in and out of consciousness from the pain meds they'd given him. Tommy's not just a crew member, Rob said. He's my friend. And friends don't let friends ride alone when they're scared. Tommy squeezed Rob's hand weakly. I'm not scared, Tommy mumbled. You're here. Lisa smiled. Your friend's lucky to have you. I'm the lucky one, Rob said quietly. At the hospital, Rob waited through the entire surgery. 5 hours. He called Tommy's ex-wife to let her know what happened. He called Tommy's daughter at college. 20 minutes later, Tommy's daughter Sarah burst through the emergency room doors. She was 19, wearing a UCLA sweatshirt, her face streaked with tears. Mr. Lowe, she said, looking around frantically. Rob stood up. Sarah. She ran to him. Is my dad okay? They said he fell. They said it was bad. He's in surgery right now. The doctor said he'll be okay. Broken shoulder, some ribs, but he'll recover. Sarah collapsed into a chair, her hands shaking. I drove 90 miles an hour to get here. I kept thinking, what if I don't get to say goodbye? Hey, Rob sat next to her. He's going to be fine. I promise. You were there. I was. And your dad, even lying there in pain, you know what he was worried about? What? You. Your college tuition. He was afraid they'd fire him and he wouldn't be able to pay for school. Sarah started crying harder. That's so like him. Always worrying about me. Rob put his hand on her shoulder. He's a good man. And he's going to be okay. At 11 p.m., the surgeon came out. Mr. Lowe. How is he? He'll recover. Shattered shoulder, 2 broken ribs, minor concussion. We put 3 pins in his shoulder. He'll need physical therapy, but he should regain most function. Rob exhaled for what felt like the first time in hours. Can I see him? He's in recovery. Give him another hour. Rob waited. At midnight, a nurse led him to Tommy's room. Tommy was awake, groggy from pain meds, but smiling. Hey, hero, Tommy said, his voice slurred. Rob laughed. I'm not a hero. You're the one who survived a 30-foot fall. You know what Martin told me before they loaded me up? What? He said I should thank you. Said you saved my job. Apparently, after you left, Janet made some calls. They're covering all my medical. Full pay during recovery. And they're investigating the props department. Rob sat down in the chair next to the bed. Good. Why'd you do it? Tommy asked. You could have just kept shooting. This isn't your problem. Rob thought about it for a long moment. A long time ago, I made some bad choices. Hurt some people. And when I was at my lowest, there were people who could have walked away from me. But they didn't. They stood by me even when it cost them something. I guess I'm just trying to pay that forward. Tommy's eyes were getting heavy. Well, my daughter wants to meet you. She said any guy who stands up to Martin Schofield is either crazy or brave. Probably both, Rob said. Tommy laughed, then winced. Ow. Don't make me laugh. Sorry. Rob. Yeah. Thank you. Really. Rob squeezed Tommy's good hand. Get some sleep. I'll check on you tomorrow. The next morning, Rob was on set at 5:30 a.m., half an hour before call time. Martin was already there, setting up the day's shots. When Martin saw Rob, he walked over. Lowe. Martin. They stood there for a moment in awkward silence. Tommy's going to be okay, Rob said. I heard. Janet told me. More silence. Look, Martin said finally, I was out of line yesterday. You were right. I was so focused on the schedule that I forgot. I forgot we're dealing with people's lives. Rob nodded. Apology accepted. The studio's actually happy, Martin continued. Turns out standing up for crew makes good PR, Janet leaked it to the trades. You're getting called a hero. Rob shook his head. I'm not a hero. I just did what anyone should do. But most people don't, Martin said. That's the difference. Over the next 3 weeks, the story spread through Hollywood. Not through tabloids, but through crew members, stunt coordinators, and below-the-line workers who never get recognized. Rob started getting calls from other productions. Not offers to star. Offers to consult on stunt safety protocols. He turned most of them down. But he did one thing important. He worked with the Stunt Coordinators Association to create a new safety protocol. They called it the Martinez Safety Protocol, after Tommy. It required double-checking all rigging equipment, mandatory safety meetings before any aerial stunt, and a clause that allowed any crew member to stop production if they saw something unsafe. 6 months later, Rob was at an industry event when someone tapped him on the shoulder. It was John Cusack, another actor Rob knew from the Brat Pack days. Rob, I heard what you did on The Finest Hour, John said. It wasn't a big deal. It was a huge deal, John interrupted. My stunt coordinator told me about the Martinez protocol. Tom Cruise heard about it too. He's implementing it on Mission Impossible. You didn't just help Tommy. You probably saved lives. Rob didn't know what to say to that. Anyway, John continued, I just wanted to say I'm proud to know you, man. That's real heroism. 3 years later, Rob was filming The West Wing when Tommy Martinez showed up on set. Rob was in between takes when he saw Tommy walking across the sound stage, looking healthier than he had in years. Tommy. Rob walked over and hugged him. What are you doing here? I'm consulting on the show, Tommy said. Aaron Sorkin heard about the Martinez protocol and wanted someone to advise on the action sequences. He specifically asked for me. That's amazing. It's because of you, Tommy said. What you did that day, it didn't just save my career. It changed my career. I'm not doing high-fall stunts anymore, but I'm teaching the next generation how to do them safely. I've got a daughter who's proud of her old man. And I have full use of my shoulder back. He rotated his left arm to prove it. The doctor said if you hadn't stopped production, if they'd moved me wrong or if I'd waited longer for treatment, I might have lost the arm entirely. So yeah, you're a hero, whether you want to accept that or not. Rob shook his head, smiling warmly. I just did what felt right. And that's exactly why it mattered, Tommy said. That moment on the set of The Finest Hour, when Rob chose a person over a production schedule, it didn't just help Tommy Martinez. It rippled outward. It changed protocols. It saved lives. It reminded an entire industry that no movie, no matter how important, is worth someone's safety. And years later, when Rob looked back on his career, he didn't point to his biggest roles or his awards or his comeback after Scandal. He pointed to that day in June 1994 when he heard a cable snap and made a choice. The choice to run toward someone who was hurt instead of away. The choice to stop when everyone else wanted to keep going. The choice to stand up even when it cost him something. That's not acting. That's character. And in the end, that's what people remember.